Mr. Miller, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Dowd is absent, all the other board members are present. Mr. Gordon's public notice been given.
It has, we are working off of the revised agenda, which includes 11A, student handbook revision.
Right, shout out to celebrations.
Mrs. Coleman, do we have any tonight?
We do not.
Move on to public comment per policy 0167.3. Anyone wishing to participate in the period of public comment must be a resident of the school district, parent or legal guardian of an enrolled district student or an enrolled district student. Persons wishing to participate must be physically present at the meeting and must register in advance. A total time allotment of 30 minutes will be given for public comment. Each participant shall be given 3 minutes to address the board. Speakers are not permitted to make inflammatory comments, use inappropriate language or gestures, attack specific persons, or make a specific person the subject of their remarks. Please see policy 0167.3 for a complete list of requirements and restrictions. If a person is unable to adhere to these rules, they may be directed to end their comments. Mrs. Coleman?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, reports, district administrators report.
Okay, handful of things. We're into the middle of summer, new fiscal year, so happy new year to everyone. August 1st will be the date that we are targeting for parents to do online registration. And then that will be followed by a culmination of all of our registration, which is super registration on August 11th. That'll be right before our next board meeting. Board members are welcome to attend and just welcome and greet. No obligation, but you're certainly welcome. It's usually a pretty big event. A lot of parents, families, students here, getting pictures, food trucks, a lot of things going on there. Hive Drive, you notice you had to come up Cover Bridge Road here this evening. Hive Drive will be closed to the public through August 7th. So the next 3 weeks as they finish the blacktopping there on the east end of the school district. So all entrances will have to come through Cover Bridge Road and then park in the parking lots. We have our fall sports and a lot of those things starting up here in the near future. So a lot of things will be happening in connection with all of the renovations that we've got going on. The Hive Mind, the steering committee presented to the board at the last board meeting, the Hive Mind, that 2-night event that we held in the East Commons, all of the data that's collected, that is all on our website now, and all of the final results, the pillars, the presentations, everything that was presented, collected, and obtained is now on the district website and available for the public to see. Literally every piece of data that was collected during those two days. And then finally, our next newsletter, district-wide newsletter, will go out to every mailbox that resides in our school district. And those are set to be mailed out sometime next week, should arrive in everyone's mailboxes late next week or early August. So, a couple of things there. Any questions from the board that I can help clarify?
On super registration, what's the times on?
1 o'clock till 7 o'clock for the public. Staff are welcome to come with their children if they want to get their children, get their pictures taken at that time from noon to 1. It's an opportunity to test drive the pictures and make sure it's all ready to go for the public. But 1 to 7 is the official speech. Thank you. Yeah, you bet.
Has information been sent out for the summer food pickup with the change of Hive Drive?
Yes, with all of the different pickup locations, it's been in the back. This week it's being moved to where they've got to pick it up in the student lot. It'll eventually get moved to the front of the building. But Mrs. Stoltz and our food service department and WRCO and all those folks have been great at helping get that word out, as well as signage on property.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, board member reports. Moving on to the student council report.
Ms. Bailey?
Good evening, guys. I'm Charlie. If you don't know me, I'm going in my junior year here at the high school, and I'm this year's parliamentarian for our student council. Right now, we're just in the works with homecoming, our biggest event of the year, and a little review. Our theme is Hornets in Paradise, and then homecoming is the week of October 12th through the 16th with our dance on the 17th. My only new news for you guys is that we've submitted our decorations for approval and purchase. And then my biggest reminder to all community members is that they can register for the parade through WRCO at the community center, the observer post, and at the main and district office. There will also be a QR code posted eventually on the website as well. Questions, comments, or concerns? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Charlie.
Activities Director's report.
Okay, so Ms. Sullivan, our high school activities director, has her report there to view. If you got a chance to view it or not, she is here to answer any questions. Generally speaking, her report covered a lot of the student achievements in athletics and activities, major events throughout the school year, as well as just some general updates from the athletic department. Again, she is present if you have any questions or comments pertaining to that presentation. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sullivan.
Thank you.
All right, down to the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes of May 18, 2026?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Billing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Miller. Any discussion? Mr. Billing?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye. Is there a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes of June 24th, 2026?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Billing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Sharp. Any discussion? Mr. Sharp?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Right, on to financial items. Business officials report.
Make a motion to approve the statement of cash dated July.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, we're good. No, you're fine. You just jumped ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Bosworth.
Sorry.
All right, a few things to keep you in the loop on. We historically would have contracts approved at board level 1-year contracts, but with a lot of the new changes and directions, those are approved administratively now. But to keep you updated on some of those, we again have 1-year contracts with the Richland Hospital and Clinic for OTPT, which is occupational therapy and physical therapy, which a lot of our special education students need. And we also contract with the hospital clinic for our athletic trainer. So we will work with them again. We will again renew a 1-year contract with Southwest Cap, which supervises the Head Start program. And we prepare food and deliver food to them at their location. And then another contract agreement to keep you in the loop on is that the district office is transitioning away from Panda Docs into DocuSign and signing an agreement with them. And I know that sometimes board members have to sign things electronically. So if you would see something coming from DocuSign and you hadn't seen that before, that would be the reason we're going to make the shift to DocuSign. Summer food service was mentioned. We are at 807 students currently, and last year the peak was 760. So certainly trending in a positive direction. An update on the DFC grant. You'll remember that we had an agreement with the Richland Hospital and Clinic, and that is progressing. The former director has retired, and the hospital has hired a new director. And that person has been on site for a couple months, and they're working. And at this point, most of the decision making is happening at the hospital and clinic by the new director, and they're purchasing things and then they're invoicing us either for that person's time or for the things that they purchase. And we will pay them, and then we'll make the claim. We'll make claims through the end of September, and then once we flip to October 1, it will officially transition 100% to the Richland Hospital, and we will be out of it 100% at that point. The next thing to keep you updated on is, I don't know if Laura mentioned this in her report or not, but we're switching software that we use for activity scheduling and for facility scheduling from our school to Bound. A lot of the state is making the switch. Bound has some better features to it, and it's looking pretty promising. I'm, as a business director, kind of excited. I think we may be able to improve our ability to pay our officials and game workers more efficiently. And I think that's one of the things we've heard from them in the past, and hopefully this can be a solution to make that work better for them. But if you'll request facilities, you would be using a new software now, or if you ever are a game worker or an official for us, you may get your payment in a different method now. And then finally, the 25-26 audit is coming soon. The auditors will be on site the first week of August. They're here for 3 or 4 days, and then they usually leave, and then they continue to do the work remotely for another 2 or 3 weeks and just keep sending us questions and send us this, send us this. But that's coming up soon.
Any questions from the board? All right. We'll move on to the approval of statement of cash and invoices.
I apologize to Mr. Bosworth for interrupting earlier, but now I'd like to make a motion to approve a statement of cash dated July 14th, 2026, and approve Community First Bank general checking account checks number 88457 through 88512, ACH number 252685313 through 262705383, EFT number 202500355 through 202600026, with a net total of $1,956,059.07. This is for the purpose of the general operating costs of the district.
Motion was made by Mr. Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Troxel. Mr. Bosworth, anything you want to call out, point out, or add?
Nothing particular.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. Mrs. Coleman, consent agenda items.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items. Motion to accept the donation of $400 from HOSA from the Medical College of Wisconsin. Motion to accept the donation of $5,000 for an enclosed trailer for the building construction class from Paul Mullendor via the Richland Foundation. Motion to accept the donation of cinnamon rolls and biscuits valued at approximately $11,000 from Dairyland Transportation. Motion to accept the donation of $1,750 from 4 RC Pathways from the Richland County Campus Foundation. Motion to accept the donation of $3,000 for the book vending machine and bean stacks reading program from Richland County Campus Foundation. Motion to accept $33,790.79 and equipment from the Richland Center Athletic Booster Club. Motion to accept the resignation of Allie Harris, RCIS grade 6 writing teacher at the conclusion of the 2025-26 school year. Motion to approve the hiring of Zachary Duray as an alternative education teacher for the 2026-27 school year as presented. Motion to approve the hiring of Kelsey Goodman as a second grade teacher for the 2026-27 school year as presented. Motion to approve the hiring of Joshua Oates as a grade 6 writing teacher for the 2026-27 school year as presented. Motion to approve the student academic standards as presented. Motion to waive policy 5851, school events on Wednesdays, Sundays, and holidays as presented. Motion to approve 4 open enrollment in applications for the 2026-27 school year as presented.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Ms. Troxel. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mrs. Thompson, any discussion?
Just for clarification, it is the Richland School District Foundation that Paul Mullendor's funds came through.
Thank you. Mrs. Thompson?
Aye.
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 On behalf of the board, I would like to thank the Medical College of Wisconsin, Paul Mullendorf via the Richland School District Foundation, Deerland Transportation, Richland County Campus Foundation, and the Richland Center Athletic Booster Club for their very generous donations. And also on behalf of the board, I want to welcome each of our new staff members who will be joining the Hornet family. We're excited to have you. And in addition, I want to extend our best wishes to those who are retiring or resigning. And thank you for your dedication to our schools, students, and community. Is there a motion to approve the modified agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Billion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Thompson, any discussion? Mr. Troxel?
Aye.
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 On to information and discussion items, different vacancies and appointments.
Okay, so you can see in the chart for 26-27, there were 6 openings. You approved 3 of those to be filled here just moments ago with consent agenda. The remaining positions are cross-categorical position. We actually have a pending offer to someone for that position right now. So hopefully by tomorrow or later this week, they will have accepted that position. The behavioral tech position, we have candidates being interviewed early next week. I believe the final ones are on Wednesday. And then the special education aides, those interviews are happening later this week. So we're in a really good spot, knock on wood, with our positions. We've got all of our teaching positions filled at the moment and are well on our way to having everything filled. So hopefully that continues. I'm sure there'll be a few little things that happen here, dominoes that fall, but for the most part, we're in a really good spot for the start of the 26-27 school year. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Referendum projects updates.
Okay, your memo says that you'll be hearing from Brian Jones, Chris Clerkin, and Mark Noble, but 2 of the 3 of them have prior obligations. And so Mr. Noble will be taking the lead here tonight, giving an update on where we stand with some of the referendum projects. A lot happens every day, every week, and certainly from the last time you had this presentation in June. So Mr. Noble, whenever you are ready, take it away.
All right, good evening. Glad to be here and explain what's going on, and if you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask them anytime. Let's see. Let's start out, these are some pictures from the intermediate school. They've got the new grid up in just about all the building. The ductwork is mostly in, and on the north end of the building, the ceilings are all in. That part of the building has been turned over to us, so we can start doing the floors, the waxing and things like that. These are just kind of, these are all classrooms. This is at the intermediate school, some of the ductwork going up. The grids are in these classrooms now. Things continue to progress. It's looking better every day. Some walls come down, some walls went up. It's a work in progress. The windows are all completely in the building now, all the new windows that are going in the intermediate school. As you can see there, they're finishing up. New rooftop vents are on. This one down here in the corner looks like the band and choir room. The carpeting's out of that, the ceiling's going back in. Yeah. Chill is all set. They plan on turning that on the 18th of August. Is when they're gonna start that up, so as soon as the teachers in there. These are the restrooms. The old ones were, the demo's done. concrete's all poured back, the drains are in. Two sets of the bathrooms are almost completely tiled. Just waiting for the fixtures to be put in and then to get them open. Okay, we're back up to the high school. Parking lot, the big part of the parking lot has been completed. You can drive on that. The bus parking lot was paved on Tuesday. So by Wednesday, we should be able to, a week from today, we should be able to drive on that part. They continue out, staff parking lot out front. That will get proof rolled tomorrow morning, and I think they plan on coming back towards the end of next week to pay for that.
Mark, I would kind of received a question from one of our community members. That noticed that part of that parking lot, the blacktop did not come off. Is there a reason for not pulling that and doing, redoing the subsurface?
That was paved in 2016. With the last referendum, and I think that was solid, so we just decided to try to save enough money there to fix the rest of it.
They will seal coat it again though, correct? So
Mhm.
it'll all-
Over top, yep. So it should look just like the new blacktop.
Thank you.
These are the bathrooms up here at the high school. The set next to the IMC, those are completely tiled, ready for fixtures and partitions, which by the end of next week, they should be supposed to be opened. The ones down by the gym end, they should have finished tiling in there today, so they'll be ready for fixtures and partitions as soon as they arrive. This is a maintenance loading dock. The picture on the left, that was poured back. That's ready to use now. The one on the right is a picture of the food service loading dock, which was tore out yesterday. They started putting it back. They should be poured tomorrow morning. Oh, here's some exciting news. Furniture's here and it's very nice. They probably got 70% of it put together and in the classrooms. This is the office and work area, the high school office. The drywall is, that's without drywall. The drywall is up now. They continue to move forward with that. Auditorium, the seats are out, carpeting's out. We've got the floor buffed. They're close to being ready to put the seats back in. The stage, they continue to work on that. The rigging and the lights, they're still working on that. I think they plan to have that, at least part of it ready for our first in-service day.
It won't be completed, but there'll be enough to get us.
Concrete out front by the high school office, that's all poured. The sidewalks are all poured, the curbs are all poured. Just waiting to get the okay to blacktop the staff parking lot. The picture on the left is the welding booth back in the tech ed shop. The one on the right is the gym. If you're in there, you'll notice that tube is not dusty, dirty, it's bright orange. We have new lights in the gym, new fans. It's looking better every day. There's middle pictures, like an IT rack. I think they've replaced some of the components of that. They're continuing to work on that too. And also back in the tech ed shops, The wood shop has been painted, new lights. The auto shop has been painted, the lights are in that. They're working on some electrical outlets and I think the floor is left to be. I guess that's it. Any questions?
That's it.
With all the things going on in the schools, do you feel confident that we'll be able to get to the floors like the normal cleaning and waxing? Are there gonna be areas that are gonna have to wait?
Yeah, the primary school's done, the high schools. Everything is done except where we can't get into. We're starting to wax the floors at the intermediate school tomorrow, so. I think we'll be fine.
Excellent.
Mark, what percentage on the intermediate school would you say we're at? Are we like at 90% being done or?
I'd say 65, 70, maybe.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else?
If you get an opportunity, you're more than welcome. The set of bathrooms, they're not usable, but the ones right around the corner here outside of the IMC, go ahead and pop in there, just open the door, it's open, you can see the tile. And then these classrooms right outside the IMC, if you want to see the furniture, you're welcome to. The lights will just come on when you go in there, so just go ahead and take a peek at them.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to action items. The revised agenda, RCHS student handbook revisions.
Okay, so we had some, and actually, if you look closely, the RCHS is crossed off. That was part of the revision. It's all student handbooks are kind of being encompassed here. I'll kind of explain. Most of the changes are at the high school. Just some changes I want to point out, and Mr. Lemke and Ms. Perkins have a summary here, and then the indented part is the actual excerpts from the handbook online document, with blue being additions and the red strike through being eliminations. So course grading on page 8, you'll see that the entire high school is now going away from weighted categories into a total points. We find that that's probably a little easier for students to understand where they really stand with their grades. Page 45, if you remember a year ago, we decided we would require that any students that are in an AP course take the AP exam. And then with that, the school district would pay for that. And that worked out pretty well for the most part, but we did have a couple of students that intentionally chose not to take the exam. And so we will charge them the fee that we get charged, which is a $40 exam fee, if they do not take the exam and they're enrolled in the class all year, because the expectations are when you take an AP course that you take the AP exam. Obviously, extenuating circumstances will work, but in those intentional situations. Page 59, the band uniform cleaning fee. Those get dry cleaned professionally every year. That went up slightly. Pages 59, 60, and 61, you'll notice that all of the course fees for RCHS, we've had a lot of course fees over the years, ranging from $5 to a lot of them at $40. We are going to try this year to see what it looks like if we don't charge any course fees. We want to really try to encourage and not discourage students from taking technical education courses. We don't want money to be a barrier. We took about $9,000 in last year in course fees, just under 7 the year before that. And so talking to Mr. Bosworth from a financial standpoint, Mr. Lemke and Mrs. Perkins, we really would just like to see what it looks like if we don't charge any course fees. We think that'll be highly beneficial to our students and our families, and see what that does for enrollments and things like that. So a lot of that red there that you'll see, there's no more course fees. The ones that remain are mostly optional fees, the activity pass, where families can get 15 punches to cover different events. The locks that they're, if they want to lock up their locker, it has to be a Richland Center High School lock that that we have a key to, a master key to. So that's a $5 fee. That stays the same. As I mentioned, the uniform fee went from 20 to 24. Our sports fees stay the same, as do our official transcripts. That's actually through a third-party company. And then the technology fees, and the technology fees will be the part that gets changed in all of the handbooks, should the board approve this. And that is removing the first-time accidental damage fee of $10. Our items are under warranty, and the school district doesn't get charged for that. And so therefore, we didn't feel right that the students were getting charged for it. But obviously, you'll see there the addition that we've added there is, damage to or loss of textbooks, Chromebooks, or any other school property may be subject to additional fees and/or police referral. This happens anyway, right? Somebody damages their textbooks, so we've just kind of included that into the device as well, so that we can take care of the intentional damage that is done. So I think, and then page 67, again, this isn't really a change. This is just clarifying. Every once in a while, parent or student will ask questions that pertain to a certain thing, and we realize it's not that clearly defined in the handbook, and so then that's the addition of it. And so outlining dance court procedures, how the court is selected for both homecoming and our snowball and prom. That's what that is on page 67. So I did add yesterday, and then again, that's why the agenda was revised, that the intermediate school and the primary school student handbooks, along with any supplemental handbooks like I Thrive, Partner, those kinds of things will reflect that same IT charge. And that's why it was revised from RCHS to include all. Any questions that I can answer for you, or you get to act on those? Okay, if the board does approve them, then our handbook should be finalized. We'll make the final Spanish translations and then get both of them posted on our website here. If not this week, first part of next week.
Is there a motion to approve the revisions to the 2026-27 student handbooks as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Sharp. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Troxel. Any discussion? Aye.
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 It's revisions to policy.
Okay, there are 5 policies, a couple that were pending from the last Neola update that we've now gotten a chance to review internally. Others are just updating them that we need to look at acting on. The first one is policy 1100.01. This is the employee org chart, which shows the chain of command. We've now had some position changes that occur. For example, we used to have a director of maintenance and operations. Now we have a director of maintenance and a director of operations. Those kinds of changes that we've got for next year are reflected in that employee organizational chart, and that's part of that policy. Policy 5113 is our open enrollment program policy. The state says that the school district may have students reapply for open enrollment when they change buildings. By default, our policies adopted that language, but we, as a school district, felt, why are we wanting parents to go through the process of reapplying when we want them to be here? Let's make this as easy as possible. And so we've removed the language so that they don't have to reapply when they switch buildings. As long as they have currently enrolled and continuously enrolled, then they do not have to reapply for open enrollment. So that's what that policy refers to. Policy 6320 is really just technical corrections, but I included it in here just to combine them all. And it really just clarifies a little bit better on purchasing and what needs to be approved by the board and what doesn't. It matches what the other policies are. This is just and what this policy was. It just is a little bit more clearly defined. Policy 7540.08 is an AI policy. Schools have to have a policy regarding AI. We had one, but Neola recommended, and then we took the time to really examine it, what this looks like to have a policy. And so essentially, what this policy says is that employees cannot use AI tools that are used to train the AI tool. Okay, so what's called open source AI, they cannot use for confidential and sensitive information. It violates FERPA. Okay, things that are what's called closed source AI that are protected, that are not used to train other databases, those can be used. We're going through a process right now where we're examining which ones meet that criteria. And then by early next week, or certainly by the end of next week, well before teachers arrive, we will have an approved list of AI tools that the district has approved. And then there's a process within that policy that an AI committee will review any new tools that may come about that somebody may want us to consider. And so then there's a committee that will look at that from different lenses. And then finally, the wellness policy is 8510. This just better defines lunch and recess times. This requires our school district to have a minimum of 10 minutes for breakfast and 15 minutes for lunch, while we are striving for 15 and 20 minutes respectively. And then it also ensures that we have a minimum of 10 minutes of recess during the day, again, while we're striving for 20. Sometimes the schedules and the way, building schedules work, 20 is not practical. It might be 17 or it might be 13. And so we'll guarantee a minimum of 10 for recess, but we'll be trying to get closer to that 20. So those are the 5 policies that we've got to update. Again, happy to answer any questions, but those would be what we'd be looking for the board to consider. And those would be effective immediately.
So the AI policy only affects teachers, it's not directed at students?
No, actually it does talk about students as well and in there. And we will likely, because AI for students is covered in much greater depth than other policies, specifically the academic integrity policy and those kinds of things. The policy that this talks about regarding students is the same kind of policy. You cannot use open AI and then for sensitive information, but they don't have a lot of sensitive information. We're going to decide internally what we're going to block and then leave open so that we can run it through our filter. But really, from a student standpoint, to answer your question, the big part of the students using AI is covered under other policies much more extensively, but it does technically cover both.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the policy revisions as presented effective immediately?
Make that motion.
Motion given by Mr. Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Thompson, any discussion? Mr. Feeling?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye. On to revision to purchasing of campus property and assuming the LWCF grant.
Okay, give me one moment. I think it will be easier to explain here. Let's see if we can zoom this real. Okay, this was our original offer to the county to purchase the land that's shaded in yellow for $1. And so it encompassed Melville Hall, which is here, the gymnasium, which is here, the green space, the 2 parking lots, all of the green space to the west of the gymnasium, with the exception of the Simons parking lot. And the county wanted to maintain a small portion here. This section here is not in yellow, for a possible expansion of Simons down the road, and then all of this to the south side of Brush Creek. What's labeled in red there, those were where easements needed to be. The county has the Simons sign right here, so that would be an easement for them to have signage there, as well as an easement around here to be able to get access to Simons. through what would eventually become our property. All right, so that was the original offer that was accepted by both parties. During the process of doing survey work and getting this parcel ready for transferring to the school district, it was identified that back in 1981, there was a federal Land and Water Conservation Fund grant that's managed by the DNR. And that grant, this is an old aerial view, but this is the grant encompassed here in the red. That grant covered the west parking lot here. You'll notice that it encompassed the Simons parking lot that was here, as well as the tennis and basketball courts to the north. And I'll just scroll back up here. So that was not included in the original offer. All right. So, in working with the DNR and the county collaboratively, along with the surveying company on what could and couldn't be done, originally our first thought was that the DNR allows a transfer. So basically this grant says back in 1981 that this land has to stay for public access and recreational use. I don't think that's the exact term that they use, but for all practical purposes, it's recreational use. And so you can take land in and out of the grant as long as you're replacing it with equal or greater space. Okay, that was what we were originally told. And so our first thought was, well, let's get the grant so that it matches the original boundary lines right here of the offer. And we would take this, which I believe is like 1.2 acres, and we would take that out of the grant and then instead include all of this land to the south of Brush Creek, which is like 3.8 acres. Okay. And the DNR said no. All right. Even though it's 3.8 acres and there's more land, the value of this swampland is not the same or greater value as this land up here. Okay. So then in working with the county, we started exploring, well, what would it look like if the school district just took over the entire property that encompasses the grant? All right. And so that's what the DNR said we could do. We could just transfer the whole grant. Okay. And so one of the things we will be asking you to act on in the motion is assuming the grant as it sits mostly in this red diagram here, with one exception, which I'll explain in a second. And then you'll be assuming the responsibility of that grant as well, which means that it will have to stay open to the public and mostly recreational. Now, it doesn't have to be exclusively to the public. We have confirmed that there's absolutely nothing wrong with our athletic teams playing soccer, practicing here. It just needs to be open and available to the public. All right, so when this said that this looks like it's a reality, there were two issues or concerns, or probably a better term, that I had on behalf of the school district. One, I didn't want the school district to take on tennis courts and basketball courts that are in very, very rough shape and then have to try to improve them and maintain them. Okay. The second was, I didn't want the school district to have a bridge. All right. We spent 20 years trying to get rid of a bridge. I didn't want to take on another one, even though it's brand new. All right. And so, and again, working with the county said that they have grant money as part of the campus funds that they got to kind of renovate the campus, that they would remove the tennis courts and basketball courts and essentially turn it into green space. Okay. They're in very, very rough shape right now, very unsafe in a lot of areas. So they would simply remove that, get grass planted. And so we would assume that, and our responsibility would simply be to mow it. That I think I can live with. All right. And then the second thing was what to do with the bridge. And so again, back to the DNR. The DNR has allowed, right now the county, what will be the school district's property, has allowed this little sliver, which is the road and the bridge, to be removed from the grant. Okay. And so the grant itself will stop right at our property line. And because this is public access, it will be an access to something at some point in the future across that bridge, then that is perfectly acceptable. And we don't have to worry about taking on the bridge, okay? Secondly, or thirdly, I'm not sure where I'm at, because this 40+ acres is all in the city limits, the city has ordinances where, you know, you can't just divide parcels and do what you want with them. It has to go through the city hoops. And because this is a large chunk of land, the city likely has thoughts on what they would like to see this, or at least how they would like to see this develop for future use. And so originally the county had 4 different parcels. The city had issues with that. And so we have pared it down and working with the city and the county together. And this was really, really a good joint effort by all 3 entities. And I'm proud of the relationship that we've built with both of them. The city has said, if we can simplify this and we can just get the city's portion of it and leave everything else to the county, we'll deal with that part later. And we'll just get this part transferred to the city. But it still, excuse me, to the school. But it still has to go through the hoops, okay? And so, in summary, this land right here, this is the CSM. This was actually drawn by the surveyor. What's in yellow here is what we would be looking at taking on. It's slightly more property than what our original offer was. The grant that was in question is encompassed all within the yellow, okay? And then if the board approves this, the county board approved it last night at their meeting. Then if our board approves it, it would go to the city, and the city will run it through their channels. They will send out notices to all the adjacent landowners. They'll have a public hearing on it. It'll go through planning, and then I believe it'll end at the city council. That process will probably take about 45 days, which puts us into mid-September. If our board approves it tonight, one of the first things I will do tomorrow is try to get in connection with the county administrator, and we will work on a plan to either get an MOU or a rental agreement in place for the school district to rent Melville Hall so that we can start trying to get some of our alternative education in there for the start of school. We already have an MOU for the land, the green space, and the gymnasium. And then once this is all transferred, again, assuming that this is approved by our board, then we'll have to turn around and work on an MOU or an agreement with the county for maintenance and snow removal of the Simons parking lot, which will now be part of our land, as well as any easements that are required and drainage of the pool. That pool drainage sits about right here or somewhere right in, oh, it's right there. I guess they've got an arrow right on it. So that'll be on our property entirely. So we're just gonna have to work out those details, but fully confident that will be fine to do. But in the motion tonight, you would be acting on 2 things. One, assuming responsibility of that LWCF grant from the DNR, as well as approving the revision to what we would be obtaining in that grant. And then the last part of that motion is to grant the district administrator the approval to get this thing closed and sign the documents on the back end on behalf of the school district. Okay, that's a lot of information, but I'd be happy to answer any questions. It's been this is a 12-month process here, but I think it's coming to an end in a good way. Go ahead, Mr. Beal.
I would assume the MOU would come back to us at that time when
The board would have to sign the MOU.
we're gonna have a couple different times that we're gonna have the transitioning of it.
MOUs, rental agreements, something like that is gonna have to be taking place, and we'll certainly make sure you're aware of that. Okay, so I'll turn it back over to Mr. Unbehind here, and again, the motion would be to accept that transfer of the grant, accept the revised campus property, and then authorize me to sign any documents. We have to just dot the i's and cross the t's on this.
Is your motion to approve the acceptance of the transfer of the Land and Water Conservation Fund, LWCF grant, and the revised campus property, and authorize the district administrator to execute all documents necessary to complete the acquisition, subject to legal review as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Billing, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Sharp, any discussion? Mr. Sharp.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain, we have counting for. Aye.
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 Referendum budget and change events.
Okay, I think I'll just stay right up here so you can pull it up on the big screen. Okay, there are a few different change events that we'll be looking at acting on tonight, as well as our general update on our referendum budget. We've got one more month of major construction and then some subsequent bills. And then, of course, there'll be punch lists and everything like that that will extend into September and likely even October before everything is all said and done regarding the projects here. Contingency fund, line item number 1, and this is shown right here. Our contingency fund is currently sitting at $522,000. This is down $141,000, just under $142,000. Most of that is change orders, or is from change orders that you approved back in June. Okay, some of it is just general, like we got into a wall and this had to be done, just the little stuff that the contingency is for. Most of it is through the change events that the board has already approved. Those things would come out of contingency. So that amount right there is our current contingency as of Monday of this week. So just a couple days old, very, very up to date. And then the second thing that has changed is our estimated bond proceeds. You know that we've got a lot of this invested into CDs, and depending on how fast or slow we have to make withdrawals to pay bills, we can earn more or less interest. So that's kind of a fluid amount as far as the amount that's liquid. That amount has gone up. I think it was $12,385.34 since the last time you saw that. Okay, so the top part of this budget has not changed at all. Our original budgeted items, and they won't change, right? This was what was spec'd and bid on, and this is where we were at from a budget standpoint. The next section shows all of the different ads that the board has taken out of essentially what was contingency or extra money that was available. That came to just under 1.7 million. That put us over budget by about 1 million from that 27.16 million. But we do have just over $500,000 in contingency, as well as that $1.3 million in bond proceeds, which puts us right now at about $810,000 remaining. We are asking the board to consider 2 different change events. One dated 7/2, one dated 7/16. Those PDFs are in the attachments below. Summaries are up above. The one dated 7/2 is for a grand total of just over $68,000. Just again, general unforeseen construction items. There's some smaller items, but the big item on there is repair work done to the sidewalk out here in front of the high school. And there's a substantial savings doing that concrete work before they poured the blacktop than after. And so that repair work was done so that we didn't have to spend more money on it later. And then the change event dated 7/16. This is $27,000. This is for internet cable upgrades, as well as some pavement markings on this curb. When they put the new concrete in, of course, then those don't have the safety yellow lines and the visuals for students, as well as the internet upgrades and working with K-12. And again, making sure that our internet experience is good for our students and staff, but also for our public. It was determined that we needed to run fiber optics from the gymnasium back to the server rack so that the gymnasium did not get bottlenecked during high public events, specifically wrestling events where everybody's on devices looking up track wrestling, things like that. But really just any events that we have. So that should make our experience for our public and our people in the gymnasium much nicer as well. So if the board approves both of those change events, that comes to $95,000. That would leave us with about $714,000 in leftover funds. Nexus has recommended that we reserve $500,000. That was an amount at the beginning of the summer, right? A lot of the contingencies that we're doing right now were really kind of from this dollar amount. So while I didn't get an exact dollar amount, what do you recommend right now? Know that that's substantially less because we're really approaching a situation where a lot of the unknowns are going to be known, right? Even though the work still needs to be done, we'll have a lot of those things known. Also, just again, a reminder to the board and our public, included in this is way back in 2024 and early 2025, the $600,000 that was spent for the IMC upgrades. That was originally intended to become out of fund balance on a worst case scenario, all right? But if the referendum funds were there, to take it out of there. So I'm holding that in the referendum budget amount. But if we do get to a point where we need a little extra money to upgrade Melville Hall or something over there, just reminding the board that, there really, in true referendum dollars, there really could be up to another $600,000. Obviously, if we don't have to spend that, we'd love to make sure that we're doing that. But if we do need to, just kind of keep that in mind. Mr. Bosworth, anything that you know from your end that you want to add regarding this? Okay. Otherwise, that's where we sit from a budget standpoint and a couple of change orders that we'll be looking at you to act on. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to, excuse me, approve the change events dated 7/2/26 and 7/16/2026 for a net change of $95,370.08?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Ms. Troxel, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Thompson, any discussion? Mr. Miller.
Aye.
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 Right. It is 7:58. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Sharp. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Troxel, any discussion? Mrs. Thompson?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.